think we have a full house tonight, so I'll go ahead and call this meeting to order. Let the minutes reflect that this meeting was posted as required by the Texas Open Meetings Act, and we do have a quorum. And the first item on our agenda tonight is, I'd like everyone, let's take a moment of silence, please. Okay, thank you all very much. And the next item is the Pledge of Allegiance. Mr. Strubhart.
Thank you, Mr. President, trustees, Dr. Cavazos, administration, and audience. Tonight's pledge will be led by Jocelyn DeLeon. Jocelyn is a fifth grade student at Bonham Elementary. She currently serves as student council president and has served as a student council representative for the past 3 years. Jocelyn has also been a part of the Bonham Dazzler dance team for the last 2 years. In second grade, Jocelyn was a part of the Little Green Healers Recycling Club. She has received the principal's honor roll for maintaining an A average in all subjects throughout her entire elementary years, and most recently was invited to be inducted into the Bonham Elementary Honor Society. This is the first chapter of an elementary honor society in our district. Jocelyn is joined tonight by her mom, Ms. Rachel DeLeon. Ladies and gentlemen, Jocelyn DeLeon.
Please join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated.
Thank you, Jocelyn. That was really well done, and congratulations on all your academic success and being enrolled in the very first honor society at the district. That's quite an honor. Thank you very much.
She's a trailblazer. She really is.
The next item is the PTSA Student of the Month for October, Brianna Vela Garcia.
Good evening, Mr. President, board members, Dr. Cavazos, administration, and audience. I'm delighted to be here this evening to help recognize our October Harlingen City Council PTSA Students of the Month. These students proudly represent Harlingen High School, Harlingen High School South, Early College High School, and Harlingen School of Health Professions. This video is produced by a talented group of our Media Arts and Communications Academy students, so we hope you enjoy.
My name is Caroline Miller and I'm a senior at Harlingen High School. I am currently the captain of the varsity cheerleading squad. I am a member of Rotary Interact, PTSA, and National Honor Society. One thing I'm passionate about is being a leader and leading by example, making sure you follow rules and what's necessary so that you can always show leadership qualities. Some strengths needed in order to fulfill being captain of any organizations, but specifically cheerleading, are you need to be trustworthy so that girls know that they can come to you when you have problems. You need to know when to be a friend, but when to be a leader and have your squad's back no matter what. I plan on going to Texas A&M University and studying in the communication industry.
My name is Michaela Leandro. I'm a senior at Harlingen High School. I'm the captain of the HHS Girls Varsity Golf Team and the vice president of Rotary. As a leader of the HHS Golf Team, is often strenuous, but at the same time, you get to learn from your situations. And I feel that's a big up in being in a sport because you also have to tackle school and at the same time, how you're gonna face other people out on the course. I'm very passionate of being an advocate for giving back to the community. I love giving back to the community in a sense that they know who I am and that I can be a leader. Seeing my dad work on the water, I wanted to also do research the way that he works with research. I plan on going to Texas A&M Corpus Christi, and I plan on studying marine biology.
My name is Danielle Muniz, and I am a senior at Harlingen High School South. I am in South Varsity Orchestra, and I am on the Southern Stars drill team, and I am captain and officer on the team. As an officer, I help girls learn the dances and go over the counts and everything with them, and I tell the girls what to do, what to wear for certain events, and whenever the director isn't there, I help lead the team. Well, I really love to read, and I hope to become an editor in a book publishing company. I would like to attend the University of Texas at Austin and major in journalism.
Hi, I'm Eric Velarde, and I'm a senior at Harlingen High School South. I'm a swimmer here, and I'm the captain of the swim team, and I'm in NHS, PTSA, and a bunch of little clubs around here and there. As captain, I just try to set a leadership role, and I just try to do my job, get there on time, swim, inspire other swimmers to go after school and maybe swim some more. And next year, I'm expecting another captain to take place. So far, I want to be a dentist. I've been shadowing over the summer. His name is Dr. James, and I just want to go into dentistry, but I'm not too sure what field yet. I think I want to go to school out of state. I'm not too sure yet, but I've applied in-state just in case, and I'm going to start applying out of state soon. And again, dentistry, and I'm not too sure what branch yet.
Hi, my name is Erica Majano, and I'm a senior at Early College High School. I am in student council and hold a treasurer position in National Honor Society and in class cabinet. My dream is to become a veterinarian and help a lot of animals across the world. So I wanted to become a veterinarian because ever since I was a little girl, I've loved animals, and I started pursuing that love and started to volunteer at my local clinic, and then they hired me. I've been accepted into Texas A&M, and I want to study in biomedical sciences.
My name is Mia Garcia, and I attend Early College High School as a senior. I am in drama club and student council, and I participate a lot in each of them. I'm really passionate about helping others, and I hope to become a nurse practitioner in the near future. I participate a lot in student council, like their volunteer events. And for drama club, I help make the plays, like direct the plays. I also help promote it, like the poster boards and the flyers. I am attending UTRGV. I will be going there in my near future, and I would like to study to become a nurse practitioner.
My name is Brianna McLean. I'm a senior at the Harlingen School of Health Professions. I am a part of HOSA, and under HOSA we have a pharmacy branch, and I'm actually a co-founder and a vice president of the pharmacy branch under HOSA. HOSA stands for Health Occupation Students of America. HOSA, it's kind of like competitive events, but it's all medical and health related. So there's like pharmacy, there's a dental event, there's kind of medical spelling, and you can either do testing or speaking events. So it's kind of whatever is your strength and in whichever area interests you. My dream is to create kind of a life-saving and affordable solution for diseases that we have down here in the Rio Grande Valley, because I believe that healthcare isn't really affordable for us down here, so I hope to help people in our community. I hope to attend the University of Texas at Austin, and I want to major in biomedical engineering, and hopefully I get to specialize in genetic engineering or tissue engineering.
My name is Allison Gonzalez. I'm a senior and I go to Harlingen School of Health Professions. I'm in HOSA here at HSHP, and it's like the biggest club here. It's like our football team kind of, since we don't really have sports here. And I'm a chairperson for that club. And this year we decided to do something a little different where we made branches underneath those clubs. So I'm a co-founder and president of the pharmacy club here. I am passionate about research in general. I think it's so cool how we can study all these germs and viruses and vaccines, and how we, these germs are ever evolving. They're never going to stop evolving. I think it's so cool that people can study that and get a job in that and make tons of money off of it. I want to go to UT Austin. That's my dream school. It's been my dream school ever since I was a child. I would like to go to their pharmacy school. Before that, I'd probably major in chemistry.
At this time, I'd like to ask the students of the month that are here this evening to stand and be recognized. If there are any parents or grandparents here, can you stand and be recognized? This video will be available on YouTube tomorrow, so if you want to rewatch it. So Mr. Elias Ortega is here representing the City Council PTSA as Vice President. We'll be calling up each of the students by names for their certificates. So once I call your name, please stand here for a group photo. Dr. Cavazos and Mr. Powers, if y'all can come forward. Okay, from Harlingen High School, we have Caroline Miller. We also have Micaela Leandro. From Harlingen High School South, we have Danielle Eliza Muniz. And we have Eric Velarde. From Early College High School, we have Erica Medrano. We also have Mia Garcia. And from Harlingen School of Health Professions, we have Brianna McLean. We also have Allison Gonzalez. Thank you. Now we'd like to invite the entire board forward for a photo.
Before y'all leave, maybe a few people would like to comment. I'm just blown away. You know, this has become one of the highlights of our meetings because these kids represent the HCISD brand. I mean, these are remarkable kids who excel in academics, athletics, and the arts. And that's what it's all about. And we're so proud of you and how you represent our district. And thank you all very much. Parents, you've done a great job. Great job. Thank you.
Mr. President, hang on real quick. I'll make it short. I know you guys want to go and have dinner. So do we. You know, people always ask, like, why do you do it? You know, why? And I can probably speak for every one of my colleagues up here, every other trustee, and even our superintendent, teachers, and everybody that's involved in the school district. Why do you do this? I'm not an educator. I'm a trustee. I represent the community up here on this board. But why do I do it? Because of students like that and all the hundreds of students that they represent in the school district. It makes the long hours and the hard work all worth it when we see these. Like Mr. Power said, this is probably the best part of our school board meeting is when we get to watch these videos that are produced by our very own students as well. So thank you, parents, for putting in the hours. You know, I see my friend Albert over there. Congratulations. you know,
Don't
for,
make him
for putting in
alone.
the hours and putting in the extra time to support, you know, to be that champion for your own child, because it shows, and it shows across the board here in the school district, and it represents everybody. So thank you.
Great job, guys.
Okay, the next item is the recognition of TEA Distinguished Designated School for 2017-2018. Dr. Noyola.
Thank you, Mr. President, Dr. Cavazos, board members, senior team, and audience. Tonight is indeed a night for celebration as we recognize 25 HCISD campuses that were honored by the Texas Education Agency for having earned distinction designations with regard to their student achievement. In all, 101 distinction designations were earned by the district. Distinction designations are awarded to campuses based on achievement in performance indicators relative to a group of 40 campuses of similar type, size, and student demographics. Distinction designations can be earned by campuses for academic achievement in English language arts, reading, academic achievement in mathematics, academic achievement in science, academic achievement in social studies, being in the top 25% of comparative academic growth, for being in the top 25% of comparative closing the gaps, and finally for post-secondary readiness. So we'd like to ask Dr. Cavazos and Mr. Powers to please come forward as we recognize our campuses. So we'll begin with our first campus, Harlingen High School South, and Principal Fernando Reyes. Harlingen High School South received 5 distinction designations in the areas of academic achievement in English language arts, academic achievement in science, academic achievement in social studies, top 25% comparative academic growth, and top 25% comparative closing the gaps. Our next campus, Early College High School, and Dr. Pamela Flores, principal. Actually, if Dr. Flores has any staff with her that would like to come forward and be recognized as well. Early College High School received 5 distinction designations in the areas of academic achievement in English language arts, academic achievement in mathematics, academic achievement in science, top 25% comparative closing the gaps, and post-secondary readiness. Our next campus that we'd like to recognize is Dr. Abraham P. Cano Freshman Academy and Principal Vivian Bauer. If we have any staff from Dr. Cano Academy come forward. Cano Academy received 4 distinction designations in the areas of academic achievement in mathematics, top 25% comparative academic growth, top 25% comparative closing the gaps, and post-secondary readiness. Our next campus is Harlingen School of Health Professions and Principal Tina Garza. Ms. Garza, if you can have your staff join you. Harlingen School of Health Professions received all distinctions possible. They received 7 distinctions in the areas of academic achievement in English language arts, mathematics, science, social studies, top 25% comparative academic growth, top 25% closing the gaps, and post-secondary readiness.
And after this, they're having a staff meeting. They might as well.
Our next campus, Coakley Middle School, Principal Pedro Sanchez. Mr. Sanchez, if you have any staff with you, they're welcome to come forward. Coakley Middle School received 3 distinction designations in the areas of academic achievement in English language arts, academic achievement in social studies, and post-secondary readiness. Our next campus, Gutierrez Middle School, Principal Mike Reyes, and joining us is Mr. Daniel Sanchez, Assistant Principal. Gutierrez Middle School earned 6 distinction designations in the areas of academic achievement in mathematics, science, social studies, top 25% comparative academic growth, top 25% comparative closing the gaps, and post-secondary readiness. Our next campus is Memorial Middle School and Principal Alex Gonzalez. Mr. Gonzalez, you'd like to have your staff join you. Memorial received 4 distinction designations in the areas of academic achievement in English language arts, achievement in science, achievement in social studies, and post-secondary readiness. We next recognize Vela Middle School and Principal Tony Gonzalez. Vela Middle School received a distinction designation in the area of academic achievement in English language arts and reading. Next, we recognize Vernon Middle School and Principal Arlita Mess. Vernon Middle School received 5 distinction designations in the areas of academic achievement in English language arts, academic achievement in social studies, top 25% comparative academic growth, top 25% comparative closing the gaps, and post-secondary readiness. We continue recognizing our elementary schools, beginning with Austin Elementary and Principal Magda Gonzalez. Austin received 3 distinction designations in the areas of academic achievement in science, top 25% comparative closing the gaps, and post-secondary readiness. Next, we recognize Bonham Elementary and Principal Minnie Ramirez. Bonham received distinction designations in the areas of academic achievement in English language arts and academic achievement in science. Next, we recognize Bowie Elementary and Principal Jamie Galan. Bowie received all the distinction designations possible at the elementary level. They received academic achievement in English language arts reading, mathematics, and science, as well as top 25% comparative academic growth, top 25% comparative closing the gaps, and post-secondary readiness. Next, we have Crockett Elementary and Principal Juan Garcia. Crockett received 3 distinction designations in the areas of academic achievement in English language arts reading, top 25% comparative academic growth, and top 25% comparative closing the gaps. Fresh off their recognition as a National Blue Ribbon School, we have Dishman Elementary and Principal Irma Davis. Dishman received all distinction designations available at the elementary level in the areas of academic achievement in English language arts reading, mathematics, science, top 25% comparative academic growth, top 25% comparative closing the gaps, and post-secondary readiness.
Tina, I think they beat you. No, I meant how many people showed up.
We next recognize Houston Elementary and Principal Ginger Armstrong. Sam Houston Elementary received 3 distinction designations in the areas of academic achievement in mathematics, top 25% comparative closing the gaps, and post-secondary readiness. Our next campus is Jefferson Elementary and Principal Alejandra Lara. Jefferson received 4 distinction designations in the areas of academic achievement in English language arts, academic achievement in mathematics, top 25% comparative closing the gaps, and post-secondary readiness. Next, we recognize Long Elementary and Principal Bobby Joe Hushin. Long Elementary received 3 distinction designations in the areas of academic achievement in English language arts reading, academic achievement in mathematics, and post-secondary readiness. Our next campus is Means Elementary and Principal Mindy Sanchez. Means received all distinction designations possible at the elementary level in the areas of academic achievement in English language arts reading, mathematics, science, top 25% comparative academic growth, top 25% comparative closing the gaps, and post-secondary readiness. Our next campus is Milam Elementary and Principal Brenda McKinney. Milam received 4 distinction designations in the areas of academic achievement in mathematics, academic achievement in science, top 25% comparative closing the gaps, and post-secondary readiness. Spirit jeans. Spirit jeans. I've seen them. Glitter all around. It is weight. Next is Rodriguez Elementary and Principal Adriana Arellano. Rodriguez received a distinction designation in the area of post-secondary readiness. Next, we recognize Stewart Place Elementary and Principal Bill Snavely. Stewart Place received 3 distinction designations in the areas of academic achievement in mathematics, top 25% comparative academic growth, and top 25% comparative closing the gaps. Our next campus is Travis Elementary and Principal Beulah Rangel. Travis Elementary also received all the distinctions available at the elementary level in the areas of academic achievement in English language arts, mathematics, science, top 25% comparative academic growth, top 25% comparative closing the gaps, and post-secondary readiness. We'd like to have Treasure Hills Elementary and Principal Roland Ingram come forward. Treasure Hills received distinction designations in the areas of academic achievement in English language arts reading and post-secondary readiness. Our next campus is Wilson Elementary and Principal Michelle Todd. Wilson Elementary received 4 distinction designations in the areas of academic achievement in mathematics, top 25% comparative academic growth, top 25% comparative closing the gaps, and post-secondary readiness. Finally, our last campus, Zavala Elementary, and Principal Tanya Garza. Zavala received 4 distinction designations in the areas of academic achievement in English language arts, reading, academic achievement in mathematics, academic achievement in science, and post-secondary readiness. Let's give all our principals and their staff a great round of applause for all of their hard work this past year. If we can have our Board of Trustees come forward.
Pam, can I get you on the other side? All right, Vivian. Very little. This is your presentation is going to be turned off right now. Minnie, but she can do it. She can do it without a. She's got it all up here. That's as far as it goes.
Yeah.
Roland, help me out here.
Don't run off, everybody. You're gonna get some.
Wait. Don't take off
You gotta
quite
get
yet.
the accolades. Come on now, y'all have earned it. I know the board wants to make some comments, so we'll start down.
So, Mr. President, if I may, just one last announcement because we didn't do an official recognition, but certainly a big thank you to our staff because for the first time in all of the distinction designation time period, this is the first year that HCISD received the one distinction designation that's available for school districts, and that was in the area of post-secondary readiness. HCISD was one of only 61 districts in the entire state, and there's more than 1,000 districts to receive this designation. So huge thank you to all of our campuses because of your hard work.
All right, where do we start? We start on the left or start on the right? We'll start with Javier.
Ladies first.
Ladies first. All right. Dr. Reiniger.
It is my pleasure to start and to congratulate each and every one of you and your campuses. It is teamwork that earns distinctions, and it is your leadership, top to bottom, engaging those students. And I could go on, but right, there's many of us. Thank you so much for all you do for our children.
This is so exciting for us. It's an extraordinary, extraordinary opportunity for the board to get to hear all about this. But you know, what I'm sitting here thinking is how hard you have worked to achieve this. You know, this is an extraordinary opportunity for us to be able to say thank you, yes. But it's also an extraordinary opportunity for us to be able to recognize what you have done to achieve this. I keep thinking the very same words over and over. It is remarkable to be one of 61 in the entire state of Texas to achieve this distinction is absolutely astonishing. And it has come from the hard work of all of you all. It is about teamwork, it's about leadership, it's about everyone wanting to do the very best for our children. It's for the love that you show every day on those campuses. It's for the accountability that you have within yourselves, to yourself, and to your own goals to do the very best that you can. It's for the training that you have taken the time to not only get, but to continue to get. It's for all of the extra hours that you put in. It is hard work to be a school teacher. It's hard work to be an administrator. But to be a teacher and an administrator who achieves the level of what all of you have achieved is truly astonishing. And we love you for that, and we thank you for that. And the lives that you are changing every single day will never, ever forget you. So thank you for everything you've done. Thank you.
So I can't add much to what's already been said by my colleagues, but just amazing what happens when the community comes together to support public schools. And I can go back to the strategic plan, I can go back to the TRE, just on and on and on. This community just comes together. But really tonight what we're here to focus on is really the leadership that's at the district level, starting with this man over here. We have a trailblazer, a superintendent, and amazing. We're really, we should give him a round of applause. Art. Leadership starts at the top and it matters. It filters down, and we have, because of him and his team, amazing leaders at every campus. And it's not lost on us up here why we have such amazing student achievement because of the leadership you all have at every campus. But I want to focus on that leadership because of you. It's a testament that we have, you all have families there, right? It's a family. Every school district, every you walk into, you're a family. You can tell when you walk in, it's a family. And you can tell that you care and you love every student, and you're just there to inspire every student. And that's what we're about at HCISD. That's why we perform at the levels we do and the distinctions we have, because we care and love and inspire every student. So thank you all for what you do. We're just getting started, folks. Just imagine where we're going to be in 5 years and 10 years. And this is going to be a sort of district that is going to outlive us all because it's sustainable. When you develop the kind of cultures you do at every campus, it's sustainable. And that's what we're proud of. We love you guys. Congratulations. We're so proud of you.
I just wanted to thank you for your dedication. As I sat up here and I saw all of you guys come up. I understand that there's training that you all do. You guys are pros at what you do, but there also takes a certain level of dedication, because this isn't your personal life. You have a personal life, and a lot of you have dealt with many things in your own personal lives. And to be able to persevere as a school district, as an individual principal on your campuses, and be able to earn all these distinctions says a lot, not just about yourself and your school, but your character. And it says a lot about our school district, and it just makes us proud to be able to represent each and every one of you, not just the principals, but your assistant principals, your teachers, and your students. So thank you for that dedication and going above and beyond to earn these distinctions. Thank you.
I'm not going to repeat anything that, or echo anything they've said. I mean, really, they've said it all, right? But the one big thing that I see tonight, Nolan kind of mentioned it, is culture. And it's about familia, right? The family. And you guys coming up here in huge groups. That's awesome. That's what we want to see. And the challenge is next year, bring as many as you can. Bring them all. I mean, fill this room. Really, seriously, make it a party, because it's really something to celebrate. Roland, be careful. I see your eyes, man. You're thinking. But congratulations. That's what it's about. It's about family. We want that culture. If you haven't read the book, The Culture Code, go read it, because it's what I see here. It's what's happening. Congratulations.
I'm going to go ahead and recap everything. You know, we as a board, we recognize all the great things you do. The community recognizes all the things that you do. But, you know, we got a call about a week ago from State Representative Oscar Longoria. And he reached out to us, and he could have picked any single district to choose a couple of outstanding teachers to recommend and to represent the state of Texas. But he chose HCISD. We spoke with the superintendent. We're going through the paperwork. So it's fantastic that we recognize and we know the great things that are going on. The community knows the great things that are going on, but make no mistake about it, the state knows all the great things that you're doing. There's no better school district than HCISD, and I'm proud to be a part of each and every single one's family. Keep up the great work. We are so very proud of you, and everybody knows the impacts that each and every single one of you is doing. Keep up the great good luck. God bless.
I'm going to recap the recap. No, but these distinctions are not easy, and we know that. We know how hard you all work to achieve them. And as it's been said by several people up here tonight, it all comes from leadership. Leadership, which starts at the top with our superintendent, our superintendent, and his staff. But the people in this room, I mean, it's amazing the teamwork that's been discussed tonight, and the people that came here. I mean, this is the distinctions that this district wins every year, or the word nominated for the HEB Excellence Award. 3 out of the last 5 years, and 2 of them we didn't apply for. You know, it's because of the people in this room. It really is. The people in this room are what make this district successful. Your hard work, your leadership with your staff, and the achievement that your students have achieved. Thank you so much for everything you've done. We really, really appreciate it.
So, Mr. President and board members, I'm not going to recap what everybody said, but I do want to illuminate a couple of things that I think are critical. 101 distinctions don't just happen by chance. It happens because of hard work. Earning the post-secondary distinction at the district level, 61 districts across the state, and we're one of them, doesn't happen by chance. People wonder whether the stars aligned for HCISD. I think we play an active role in aligning the stars. And I want to remind us that it's going to be critical at the end of the journey that we look back at all the memories we created and all the opportunities we gave students, and not look back at and dream and wonder what we could have done, because we're doing it. And so I want to thank you, because it does matter. We recognize that you all do the heavy lifting. We thank you for that. And I thank you on behalf of the 18,600 students. You're doing an incredible job, and it doesn't go unnoticed. Thank you for what you all do every day.
just need a recess.
No, it's a walkout. Oh, no.
Okay, the next item is the approval of the minutes for the September 11, 2018 regular board meeting. I know all the board members have had the minutes and have reviewed them. Do I have any?
Make a motion for approval?
A second.
Been moved by Mr. De Leon, seconded by Dr. Muniz. Is there any additions or corrections? Any other comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries unanimously. The next is the approval of the consent calendar. Do I have a motion?
Make a motion for approval of the consent calendar as presented?
Second.
All right, moved by Mr. De Leon, seconded by Dr. Muniz. Is there any other?
Eladio.
I'm sorry, Eladio, I'm sorry, excuse me. Is there any other discussion or comments on the consent calendar?
Just timely that number 4 is National Principals Month, and you see most of them
It's
here tonight.
timely, yep.
It's very timely, so, no.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? It's approved unanimously. The next item is the principal's report. Mrs. Minnie Ramirez, Bonham Elementary School.
You had to stay, Minnie.
Where are your colleagues?
They're like, you're on your own. Oh,
They
okay.
left me.
We're gonna send them a link to your presentation.
There you
That's
go.
right.
I do that too.
Good evening, Board President, Dr. Cavazos, trustees, administration, and audience that's left. I want to thank you for the opportunity tonight to highlight our amazing campus. I'd like to start by sharing with you our campus goals. And here you can see our goals at Bonham Elementary are definitely to increase student achievement, improve student attendance, improve behavior and social skills of our students, provide a safe and positive learning environment, provide enrichment opportunities for our students, and prepare our students to be college and career ready. You can clearly see here how our goals are aligned to our Realizing Our Dream 2.0 report card. So this evening, I would like to highlight a program that we know will have a direct impact in helping us reach our goals. Earlier this year, our district notified our campus that we were one of 10 schools that had received the 21st Century Grant, which would afford us the opportunity to implement the After School Center of Education, or ACE program. So what is the ACE program? Texas ACE program is an after-school program that aims to improve student attendance, behavior, and academics while providing a safe, supplemental learning space for students and families who otherwise would not have such opportunities. These grant-funded programs provide high-quality supplemental enrichment activities that align with the regular academic program, and programs are encouraged to deliver those activities in creative, hands-on, and exploratory ways. So as you can see, those clearly align to our goals as well. So we were very excited when we were afforded this opportunity. At this time, I would like to share with you some research that has been conducted on the ACE program and how this program will help us in achieving our Realizing Our Dream goals. We'll start with academics. Studies show that students who participate in the ACE program increase their likelihood of being promoted to the next grade level by 43%. Students have different opportunities in the ACE program to work on their academics. Our staff has the opportunity to work closely with students to help meet their needs by working one-on-one with them and assisting them with their homework. We also have different enrichment opportunities to help students reach their fullest potential. Some enrichment activities currently taking place are brain-based games, book club, theater arts, and technology club. As you can see, our students are able to get the academic help they need, as well as have opportunities to participate in different enrichment opportunities through the ACE program. Let's now take a look at the area of attendance. A study conducted by After School Alliance stated that students who participated in the Texas ACE program increased their attendance by 14%. And we are already seeing those impacts at our campus. Last year, in the first 6 weeks, our attendance was at 96.97%, and this year it raised up to 97.34%. So there has been an increase already in that first 6 weeks of attendance. So we can clearly see that our students want to come to school, and they are
always saying to us, and they'll say, oh, we were gonna miss, or there was a doctor's appointment, but we didn't wanna miss our dance class, or we didn't wanna miss out on soccer because we know that's happening today. And so we are definitely seeing that impact with our students, especially with our ACE students. All right, next we will look at the social and behavioral skills. The same study showed that students who participated and attended the ACE program on a regular basis had a decrease in the disciplinary incidents by an average of 8%. Social and problem-solving skills are critical for students to become productive citizens. In the ACE program, our students have the opportunity to work in group settings where they enhance their skills in the 4 C's: collaboration, communication, critical thinking, and creativity. When students have an opportunity to participate in enrichment activities such as dance, book club, or theater arts, they are able to build those soft skills that are needed in the real world. Another area that the ACE program directly impacts is the safety and well-being of our students. About 10 million kids, starting as early as the age of 6, go home to empty homes. Currently, 168 students are serviced through our Bonham ACE program. These are students who might otherwise have to go home to empty houses. On average, 800 hot dinners are served to our ACE students in 1 week. Research shows that 1 in 5 children in the United States live in food insecure households, which means they lack consistent access to enough food. Our ACE students have an opportunity to have 3 complete meals a day at our campus. In addition, students have an opportunity to participate in activities that help them with their well-being, such as dance, soccer, and running. We know when students feel safe and when they are healthy, it helps us to increase their attendance, which will improve their academic achievement. So now I'd like for us to take a look at our Bonham ACE program in action.
So first of all, we were really excited that we were going to be having the ACE program. And so the ACE program stands for After School Centers on Education. What this program does is it helps our students and our families who might not have after-school care. This program aims to improve student attendance. It helps them to improve their academics as well as their social skills.
Right now, we offer the computer lab, the library for resources, strategic games as far as math games or brain games as I call it, and of course the exercise and fitness. I have other programs as far as soccer, dance, and theater for all grade levels, and the book club, which helps them also with phonics.
I think it's to join book club because it's really fun and you can really express your feelings in there. I joined book club because I like arts and crafts, and I heard that it was about arts and crafts, so I wanted to join. The reason why I wanted to join dance class is because it's fun and I get to have friends that I could dance with, and it's a lot of fun. Yes, I recommend having more kids join us is because it's fun for kids to do, and the small ones could do anything they want to when they grow up.
What I like about soccer is you get to kick and you get to run and you get to win. I will recommend kids to join soccer because it's really fun.
I joined this theater because it's fun to dance and watch movies.
I want to join theater because I want to be in stage in front of everybody and show my talent.
Kids should join theater because we can meet new people.
We have really seen a great improvement in our attendance. And many of our students attribute that to wanting to come to the ACE program after school and not wanting to lose out on that opportunity. As far as academics, we definitely are monitoring our students weekly as far as how they're doing. Monthly, we have our data meetings, and so our students in the ACE program have definitely been improving as far as progressing in those areas. Definitely, we want to increase the enrichment opportunities that we have for our students. What we did is we sent out a survey to our parents, to our students, to tell them, or for them to tell us, what are some things that they'd like to see in the ACE program? What are some enrichment opportunities? And so we've been looking over those, and so some of the things that we're looking at providing are things like cooking classes, martial arts, art class.
I think one of the things that that's really high on our district right now is the fine arts. The fine arts is coming about. Of course, we have one at Lee Means, but we're trying to model that as well in our different programs. I mean, in our different campuses. So the folklorico dance is really popular. Of course, even our like our robotics, our chess. Many activities that are already in existence, we're just refining it. But some of the things that we would like to see is broadcasting.
This is an opportunity to provide a safe environment for our students, where other students may go home and not have someone at home. It gives them that opportunity to have a safe place, to have a warm meal, to ensure that they're finishing their homework, and then again to provide them opportunities that they may not have outside of the school. You know, not all students can go to a dance class or can participate in soccer, but here they have that opportunity, and it gives them, it opens doors for them, maybe opens up what maybe they want to do when they get into middle school or high school, when maybe they wouldn't have had that opportunity before.
So as you can see, our students are definitely enjoying the ACE program. And I do want to share with you a couple of things. So we're definitely off to a great start with our ACE program. It is in its infancy, and so we're definitely looking to grow that. As we look to the future, we want to make sure that we include different opportunities for our students. We send out a survey, as we had mentioned, and so we've gotten some really great input from our students, from our family members, of what they would like to see in there as well. And so we're looking to create those. So as we look in the future, we want to continue to grow those enrichment opportunities based on the needs and interests of our students, continue to partner with our community members, and of course our Bonham families, recruit more staff members to showcase their talents as they teach enrichment activities. It's really interesting because we also send a survey out to our teachers and our staff members to ask what their talents are, what they could share with our ACE program, and so it's really neat to see some of those talents that are coming out. And of course, we're going to continue to evaluate and gather data for the program. And so, of course, I want to make sure to recognize a gentleman that was on that tape, but we want to make sure to recognize Mr. Fred Cavazos, and he's here today in the audience. He's the project director for the ACE program here at HCISD, and he's been an asset to our district and has been a great help in getting our Bonham ACE program off the ground and running. And of course, also my assistant principal, Ms. Fernandez, who definitely always helps us with everything we do, but has really been helpful in this ACE program as well, so thank you. All right, so that concludes my presentation. And if there are any questions or comments that I may address at this time.
Mrs. Florio, you want to start?
Yes, I would like to start. Thank you very much, Minnie. This is just really wonderful. I'm delighted to see the implementation and the specifics of what you and Mr. Cavazos and your team are implementing over there. I'm delighted because the children are excited in the ability they have to continue their day, and you are so focused on continuing learning in a fun and healthy and safe and secure way. So kudos, congratulations. I think that is absolutely fabulous. And of course, I have to acknowledge that Mr. Cavazos is a proud member of the Harlingen High School graduating class of, I believe it was 1990.
With my husband, so.
I did not. Oh my gosh, it's wonderful. Well, I'm proud of you all. I also want to just do a little addendum, if I might. Did I understand correctly that you have implemented an elementary honors program?
Yes.
I am so proud. Aren't we proud of that? And you know, it was one of those moments in time in life when you hear an idea and think, oh my goodness, why haven't we been doing that for the past 50 years? It's a wonderful idea, and so we look forward to hearing more about it and your
Absolutely.
implementation.
And we'll definitely invite y'all to the induction. We haven't inducted them yet. We've sent out the
Please.
applications, and so we will definitely let y'all know when that is. And I can't take any credit for that. That came from one of my teachers.
Great
who was
idea.
working under me as she was doing her internship, and so she's just kind of kept it going. And so this is one of her projects, and I'm just there to support her 100%.
It's
so.
a great idea. Well, I
Thank
just
you.
got to say how far we have come from the first after-school programs, when it was just simply a babysitting situation, and now it's just very focused on academics and all of the enriching things that these students need so much, and I'm sure they're enjoying it. So congratulations to you all. I'm proud of you all. I'm proud that you're doing this too, Freddie. Good
Great
job.
Minnie. Great job.
Great job.
Thank you. Thank you.
Any other comments? I just want to thank, I think this is terrific, the ACE program. I noticed you said you have 168 students. Now, you may have discussed this, I apologize if you did, but are those all Bonham students?
Yes, those are all Bonham students.
And we have 10 campuses that we have this program, is that correct?
Correct.
How many students, Fred, do you have in all, do you know?
We have over 100 students in every campus.
So you have over 1,000 then?
Yes.
Wow, that's phenomenal. So do other campuses that don't have this ACE program, are they able to go to one of the other 10 or not?
Unfortunately, no, not at this time.
Okay.
The students that attend the funded campuses are the only one. Yeah.
Because it's federal funds.
It's federal funds.
Federal
correct.
funds,
Yes.
right. Well, it's terrific. I hope we can expand it. And
It's a grant.
like Mrs. Fleurier said, I think it's just wonderful that from what used to be babysitting really is now just so productive and enriching. It's wonderful. Thank you all.
Thank
Great
you.
job. Great program.
Thank you.
Let me put my glasses on. All right. Okay, the next item on the agenda is public comments, and I believe we have one to the agenda, is matters related to curriculum and instruction. And the first one is approval of out-of-state trip for Harlingen High School South Band to travel to Washington, D.C. and New York City in June 2019. And Mr. Shinsato, thank you for waiting tonight.
I thought that Mr. Fernandez, Mr. Reyes would be here, but I'll do this myself. Mr. President, members of the board, Dr. Cavazos, members of the administrative staff, I'm here to ask permission for our out-of-state trip to New York and Washington, D.C. in June of 2019. That will be our 4th year in our 4-year rotation of out-of-state trips. And I'm not sure, do you have a copy of the general itinerary? Did that?
It was in your packet.
I've got one if somebody would
Yes,
like
I
to
saw
see it.
it.
It's kind of the,
It's really cool.
Mr. President, I'd like to move for approval of the out-of-state trip as presented tonight.
Second motion. Oh.
Yes.
Moved by
third
Dr.
motion.
Muniz, seconded by Dr. Who seconded?
Dr.
Dr.
Pettis.
Pettis? Okay, Dr. Pettis seconded. Any further comments or discussion?
Just wonderful. It's wonderful.
It
Have a
is.
great time.
thank you very much.
If you need chaperones, we'll volunteer.
All right, we thank you for your continued support.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries unanimously. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Shane, and congratulations on your score this weekend.
Yeah.
Oh,
You
thank
did a great
you.
job.
Thank you.
Congratulations to you and your students.
Thank you. It's always a great day when HCISD takes the top 2 spots.
That's right. That's
In
right.
any order.
Congratulations.
That's
Thank you.
great. You bet.
The next item is statewide student assessment and preliminary 2018 accountability ratings. Dr. Dalia Garcia.
Doctor? Wow.
I'm sorry, Dalia Garcia, excuse me.
That's okay. That's
Excuse me.
She'll take it.
That's all right. Just short on the. Skip it down.
It's a report, sir.
Good evening, everyone. Mr. President, Dr. Cavazos, members of the board, superintendent staff, colleagues, and community members. Presented for you today is the STAR test results for 2018, along with our state accountability ratings. They are preliminary in nature. Typically, TEA produces their final outcome in December when all the appeals are heard. But we are definitive in our student outcomes, and much of the information presented in this report has been previously provided to you through administrative updates. And so district's goal is, goal number 3, we will improve the learning experiences by using data that measures all students' weaknesses and strengths in order to address their curricular needs. So as we look at the state assessment program, there's been changes over the years in our state assessment program, but you'll see there the bulk of it lies with our State of Texas Assessment of Academic Readiness, also known as STAR, and our Texas English Language Proficiency Assessment System, which we call TELPAS. So there are additional tests and accommodations that can be provided for students served under some special programs, and those include STAR Online. We do test some students online. With embedded supports, there are several personal need preferences that can be triggered in the online system for students that qualify, such as text-to-speech, content and language supports. There's also STAR Alternate 2 test for students who qualify under the special education. And STAR Alternate 2 is an examination that's given largely to students with cognitive disabilities. So typically are students that are in a life skill setting. And then we have our Spanish version of the STAR test, which are administered in reading and math in grades 3 through 5, writing in grades 4, and science at grades 5. They really are administered to our students with English language learners, or English language learners. So as we look at our accountability system, the 85th Texas Legislature enacted the House Bill 22 A through F system. And so under this House Bill 22, there are 5 performance levels that were given to districts this year, this past August of 2018. We have an A, which signifies exemplary performance, B, recognized performance, C, acceptable performance, D, in need of improvement, and F, unacceptable performance. And so this language here, where exemplary recognized, kind of resembles some of our previous years' accountability systems when we used to say exemplary campus and recognized campus. But now they're making it simplistic in nature with letter grades, denoting the performance level of districts. So this past August 2018, districts received a letter grade. Campuses received a MET standard rating for this year. Come August of 2019, campuses will receive their letter grade rating for their campus. So what if reports were initially supposed to be released to the public January of 2019. However, with the release of the district scaled scores and the letter ratings, along with the campus's scaled scores that were released, the public was able to deduce what the campus's letter grade was. But typically, TA wasn't supposed to release that until January 2019. So as we look at the campuses, the campus label performance for this 2018, as I mentioned, they will get their letter grade in August 2019. But for this state accountability ratings, campuses were able to achieve a MET standard or a MET alternative standard for alternative campuses. And the MET standard there is essentially the campus met an overall performance level of A, B, C, or D, denoted with some cut points. There's improvement required there for campuses that did not meet an overall performance level of A, B, C, or D. Not rated campuses for JJAEP, DAEPs, and residential facilities. And then, of course, your last one there, not rated data integrity issues with some districts and campuses across the state that might fall under this category due to some of their data integrity pieces. So House Bill 22 looks like a simplistic framework there, but it's a very complex accountability system. And so we're just going to give you some highlights of our performance under House Bill 22. Essentially, the framework there consists of 3 particular domains. We have your student achievement domain, your school progress domain, which really consists of 2 different parts, and you're closing the gaps. So your student achievement and your school progress, it really takes the best of score. So whether you did better on your student achievement portion or your school progress portion, it takes the best of either of those at 70%, and then you're closing the gaps. It's a standalone at 30%. So when you look at your overall score, it's really an aggregation of the 70 and the 30. The fortunate part is here, you get to choose the best of the student achievement or the school progress. And so as we look at the House Bill 22 framework, STAR, you will see STAR embedded in each of those domains. So it'll be embedded in domain 1, domain 2, and domain 3. So it's a real critical component in the entire accountability system. So as we look at STAR component in the House Bill 22 framework, let's take a look at just student achievement in general. And so on this chart, you'll see our performance in 3 through 8th grade, along with English 1 and English 2 for your reading, and then your math performance down at the bottom chart in 3rd through 8th, and then your algebra end of course exam. So it shows a comparison. If you look at the top graph, it shows a comparison of our district in the blue bar compared to the performance of the state denoted in that orange bar, compared to the Region 1 area, which is our Region 1 area, which essentially consists of about 43 school districts in the Region 1 area, denoted in that seafoam color. It's important to note that the data that you see here is really comprising of our spring assessment season and not necessarily your accountability group, but it does include all your STAR and those students that took STAR online. And so if you look at your reading performance there, some celebrations here is that as we look at the reading and the math, there was substantial increases from the year before, and you don't see a year before there, but in every single area there was an increase across the board in each of those levels, with the exception of 7th grade reading and 4th grade writing. But you'll see that in the reading, looking at our numbers in 3rd grade, you see us at par with the state and right 1% nominal below the region. But as you look across the grade levels in that reading section, you'll notice that 5 of those indicators there, those grade levels, are at or above the state performance level. 6 of them are at or above the region, and 8 of those, which is all of those, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, English 1 and English 2, are at or above the state or the region performance. So a lot to celebrate there. And so when you look at the math section on the bottom, comparing ourselves to the state and the region, you'll find very similar trends where we show 6 of those grade levels are at or above the state performance. 4 of them are at or above the region. 6 of them are at or above the state or the region, and 4 of those areas are above the state and the region performance. So a lot to be thankful for in those areas and the performance of our students. One item I did want to denote, if you look at the 8th grade math performance, you see the 72 as a district, and then the orange and 78, and then the region in 80. It's important to note that these 8th grade students that took the Math STAR does not include those students in 8th grade that took the high school algebra end of course. So you'll see the performance of those students in that algebra section of that chart. So that's important to know, that it's probably a little over 300 students in 8th grade taking the high school algebra end of course. And of course, you see their performance there in the algebra end of course, surpassing the state and the region. So as we look at the other subject areas, you'll see our science performance there in 5th, 8th grade and biology. In 5th grade, you'll see us there above the state. In 8th grade, we're above the region. Well, we're at par with the region at a 73. And in biology, above the region in that area. When you look at social studies, in both of those, we are at or above the state and region. So you'll see in U.S. history as well, the 93 surpassing the state at a 92 and the region 1 area at a 90. For writing, we were above the state in 4th grade. I'm sorry, this was an area for 4th grade, we achieved a 63. Substantially across the state, there was a dip in a lot of districts in this particular area. And so I know this is an area that the district is addressing with some writing curriculums and some in-services there to assist with this particular grade level. but fourth grade writing was denoted across several districts that was a challenging area. But nonetheless, we were above the state in that particular grade level, and then in seventh grade writing above the region. So in total, when you look at the math, reading, science, social studies, and writing, and you look at the performance, how we compare to the state and the region, globally, 21 of these indicators, when you tally up all these indicators, there's about 22 indicators for every grade level and subject. 21 out of 22 were at or above the state or the region performance. So a very nice celebration point there. As we take a glimpse at our STAR Alternate 2, TEA again designed the STAR Alternate 2 to assess students in 3 through 8, as well as high school and of course, for students that do have significant cognitive disabilities. And again, these are our special ed students primarily that have their coursework in our life skills setting. And so we typically have about a little over 150 across the district taking this assessment for 3 through 8th grade and in addition to the high school. So you'll see the performance there. They do exceptionally well. This assessment, they're still required to meet the TEAC standards in their curriculum, but understanding that that assessment can also be accommodated to meet the students' needs. And so they have, it's not a one-day test. They do have about 2 to 3 weeks to test the students depending on their level of ability and their level of health on when they're going to test them. But generally, they do extremely well, and there's certain guidelines they have to follow with our STAR Alternate 2 assessment. So one of the other assessments that we had talked about earlier, as far as the state assessment programs, is the assessment with our English language learners called TELPAS. And so this essentially was designed to test our students, our English language learner students, and their ability to see how much they progress over the years. And so when you look at this assessment, TELPAS is an assessment. They do have a window to take the test. These students, K through 12th grade, take the assessments in 4 different language domains and 4 different domains. That includes they take a reading test, they have a listening and speaking test, and they have a writing assessment. What was new this past spring for TELPAS was that students now were required to do the listening and speaking using headsets, and that was piloted the year before, and we had jumped on that opportunity to pilot this test and provide feedback and kind of dip our toes in the water before it went full-scale implementation across the state. We did have about 6 campuses participate, so we learned a lot from that assessment. So this spring, those 6 campuses were really our sounding board as far as some of the needs of the students when they take this assessment. So listening and speaking was new across the state. Again, students take the test with the listening and speaking, and they actually have to record their voice into the system. And they only have 2 chances to take that particular problem to speak into. They'll have a question stem on the screen, and then they'll respond to it verbally into the system. So that's new, and it's a computer-generated program that actually scores their level of speech. So that's a very interesting assessment, but in the spring, TELPAS did have some new blueprints associated with the test. So as we move forward into our House Bill 22, this is going to be, there's about 3 slides on the 3 different domains, really high-level overview of the calculation behind the letter grades. I know Dr. Cavazos, Dr. Niola, and Shane, and our assistant superintendents have done a wonderful job casting that message out through the media, the videos on the A through F system. I believe Dr. Niola showcased that A through F video at the last one of the previous board meetings. And so there's a lot of efforts at sharing the message on the accountability system, and of course showing that Harlingen is a school of choice and has several opportunities aside from the state assessment system here. But as we look at our Domain 1 on student achievement, while past accountability systems have reported student achievement as a percent of students reaching the passing standard, under House Bill 22, to calculate the STAR portion of the student assessment domain, TA is averaging the 3 different performance levels. And you'll see them there on the side. I don't know if my mouse works here. So TA is planning to average, or plan to average here, the 3 different levels of academic performance when it comes to STAR. You have your approaches level, which essentially indicates that the student did pass the test, but may need some remediation in the next year. You have those students scoring at a meets standard, which essentially are students that do have a good grasp of the curriculum skills. And then you have your master's performance, which are students, which is your old commended rate, or your commended performance that they used that language a long time ago. These are students that have great foundational skills and are post-secondary ready. So it's really just looking at really having those students rise above not only passing, but aspiring to reach higher levels of performance. And if you notice, each one of those 3 performance levels are equally weighted. So your master's performance weighs the same as your students at the approaches level. So this is one big difference compared to our previous accountability systems. So it looks at your 3 performance levels, and that's your STAR performance. It also couples in, and you'll see here, your CCMR, which is what we speak of quite often, is your college career military readiness. College career military readiness, I know we've heard Melissa Parker, Dr. Niola speak about this item, and it's really students falling under 8 indicators that they can get an industry certification, attain a 3+ or higher on AP, achieve certain standards on the SAT, ACT performance, industry certifications, enroll in or enlist in the armed forces. So generally about 8 different indicators that students can qualify for under the CCMR indicator. That's at 40%, and then our graduation rate, which weighs 20%. So they couple all those performance levels, and we earned a B in that division. And so Domain 1 under student achievement is actually probably the most straightforward, simplistic one to understand. But overall in this particular domain, HCISD as a district earned an 80 as a B. When we look at Domain 2, Domain 2 is actually broken up into 2 parts. School progress, this one is known as Part A of the Domain 2, and it's really just about academic growth. And this is a simplistic way to look at the student growth model when we start talking about students making gains from one year to the next. And so in this particular example, separate from the proficiency level of just meeting that standard in Domain 1 and attaining those performance levels, we're really looking at the measure of students learning from year to year and valuing that growth. So students in this area are only tested, the only test that it's accounted for in School Progress Part A is your math and your reading, because those 2 subjects are subjects that they test year over year. So science is not included, since that's not a repetitive state assessment that's given every year, and your writing is not included, or your social studies. So this is simply focused on math and reading. So this allows you to measure, again, students' growth from one year to the next. And you'll see here, for example, students' prior year performance, and these numbers here, we can call them tests. So, or students here, so I can have a math and a reading assessment, and I would count as 2, because I took a math and a reading assessment. But in any case, just as an example, if I had a test last year for spring of 2017, it compares me to my performance for spring of 2018. And so, for instance, if I attained a master's last year in spring of 2017, and I attained a master's again for 2018, I get 1 point. And so we start adding up the points. If I was at meets performance last year and I slipped, have slipped two approaches, then I don't get any points as a student. So you start seeing some of the value of the performance and acknowledging students' growth in this particular area. For example, we'll see here in the red, you'll see does not meet grade level to does not meet grade level, and you'll see this number right here in the green. It also acknowledges and gives credit to students that maybe they have not passed the test in prior years, but passed it this year and made some slow gains towards making that progress. And so it's
duplicated or unduplicated numbers?
these counts.
Uh-huh.
It is counts for math and reading, so it could have me there twice if I took the math and the reading assessment. So it's really just based on those two tests. But in any case, it just totals up all the points and essentially renders a raw score of a 68. And they scale it to something that's typical of a school letter grade. So a 76 was our score in this area that earned us a C.
So quick question. I know we reviewed this before, but I wasn't clear on this. If a student masters 1 year and then goes down and meets grade level, what do they get?
I'm sorry, if the
So
student.
if 1 year, year one, they master, which is excellent,
Mhm.
and then the next year they meet, which is good, how many points?
They don't get any points
doesn't
because
make
there was
sense.
no growth.
That doesn't make sense.
Right,
Okay.
and that was something that was discussed a lot about, and a lot of people gave their public input for that, because meets is still good.
Yeah, that's
Um,
excellent.
But nonetheless, it's really just based on maintaining their proficiency and their growth.
So everybody's gonna meet.
So when you look at the school progress part B, this is still under domain 2, it's relative performance is what they're terming this, and essentially it shows you a nice little graph there. But it's really the performance of all students relative to district or campuses with similar economically disadvantaged percentages. So again, it starts looking at your STAR component score from domain 1, your college, career, military, and they couple that with how many economically disadvantaged students we serve in the district or the campus, and your relative performance against others that are very similar. And so in this realm, we did end up with an 88B, which really speaks to the amount of effort that goes into teaching all students, and particularly having a big effect and a big impact, a positive impact on our students with economically disadvantaged statuses.
So that section, that part A and part B, the first one was 78, which was a C, or 76, which is C, and the second, under that same heading, part B, it was an 88. So that, do you get the average of the two?
You take the best of.
Oh, you can pick which one you want.
Right, right. And we'll come to a slide where it shows you essentially in a broad view, remember domain 1 or domain 2, it takes the best of. So it really hones in on the district's strengths to carry over the best score.
And
The
it was
third-
relative performance, and the one before that was just, what was it?
Progress,
Progress.
academic growth.
Academic growth, thank you.
Right. And then the third and final domain is closing the gaps. And this one is really looking at the performance of all our special ed, special group populations. And you'll see the 13 different populations up here that it accounts for. And so along with looking at all our students, it's also looking at, of course, the ethnicities with African American, Hispanic, white. It's also looking at our economically disadvantaged, the performance of these students, our English language learners. And something new that has been implemented in House Bill 22 under this domain is our continuously enrolled and our non-continuously enrolled, along with our former SPED population. So these are new elements to the House Bill 22 system, but all in all, it looks at the performance of these particular special groups. They each have a target that they must meet as far as their STAR passing performance in each of these components that you'll see there, the 4 components on the left side. And so it looks at their performance against their targets. If they meet that target, they get credit for that target. And so it's a little more complicated than this visual looks. But ultimately, they are just ensuring that we're not just meeting the needs of all students, but meeting the needs of our 13 different groups denoted there. And so in this category, with closing the gaps, we were a strong B there with an 86 in closing the gaps and addressing the needs of all our special groups and special populations.
Yes, please.
May I ask a question?
Yeah.
What is the purpose of the continuously enrolled and the non-continuously enrolled? And I asked that with the memory of years ago when the state was trying to account for graduation rates. They were not keeping up. I remember one time we had a superintendent who moved and his son left our district but went to another district. Well, he was considered a dropout in the state of Texas, but he was actually enrolled in another district. So what are they trying to accomplish? I don't quite understand what we're doing here.
Well, they want to account for students. Obviously, they are continuously enrolled, and so they know that if
In our
students.
district?
Yes.
And in
Uh-huh.
our same school, or can they be mobile within the district?
They can be mobile within the district for the continuously enrolled. And the continuously enrolled is looking at the current year plus 3 prior years. So they must be enrolled for 4 consecutive years in our district and exposed essentially the same curriculum. And so you'll often find our performance with continuously enrolled much higher than the performance of the non-continuously enrolled. And the non-continuously enrolled essentially is a student is enrolled with us, leaves to an outside district for a year or 2, comes back with us. They would be deemed non-continuously enrolled. And so generally, we do see trends that are students that stay with us over the course of those 4 years. As continuously enrolled students do perform much better than the students who are mobile from district to district.
I understand that. I just don't know why the state is
Mhm.
what they're trying to get at. But thank you. That's interesting.
And so all that to say, ultimately, the accountability system is complex, but when you look at the overall summary of the district, this in a nutshell is our report card per se. You have your economically disadvantaged percent as a district at the top, that we're at a 78.3. But when you look at the student achievement, you have our scores there, and you'll see for the STAR component, CCMR, and graduation rate, you see the scaled score and the letter grade associated with that particular component. And then down below, you see Domain 2 school progress, and you have those 2 divisions of academic growth and relative performance. So when you look at the House Bill 22 framework, it does say the best of Domain 1 or Domain 2 is the number that we're going to carry forward. And you'll see there that we carried over our best performance in our relative at an 88. And that's at 70%, which gives us our total there of 61.6. And then our Domain 3, closing the gaps and addressing all those special groups, carries over at an 86. And so you'll see the aggregate total there of our overall score being a strong 87.4, which essentially denotes us as a B. And then, of course, we had a lot of celebrations earlier regarding our distinctions, and you'll see our distinction designation there for our district, one of only 61 districts statewide, so that's a lot to celebrate for. On the next slide, you receive this also through administrative board update, where it just has really a summary of our campuses and their score for each domains, and then their total of 101 distinctions denoted on the far right, and which distinctions that they were eligible for. So a total of 101 for HCISD. And you'll see there the accountability rating, again, keeping in mind that our campuses didn't receive a letter grade rating this time around. They'll receive their official letter grade rating in August 2019, but happily to report that all of our campuses were a Met standard rating. You'll see not rated at the very bottom, but that's for our secondary alternative campuses and our Edna Tamayo House residential facilities down at the bottom. But happy to report all of our campuses are Met standard rating. And so all in all, we saw this beautiful slide on our district slider page denoting that we were a recognized academic district with 87 out of 100 points, denoting a B. And then we do have that link there denoting TEA accountability ratings. There's a lot of transparency in district and campus scores. And TEA is really broadcasting that. It gives us an opportunity to go in there and kind of dig a little deeper into the data, look at our neighboring districts and kind of see what their numbers look like, and continue to address our needs with our strategic plan and with our school leaders across the district. So That, in a sense, is our accountability report for under House Bill 22 for 2018, coupled with our star performance for this past year.
Mr. President, if I could.
Dr. Pettis?
Well, first of all, Dalia, what an amazing presentation. Thank you. You made this so easy to understand. This was extremely difficult to understand, you know, even a month ago or a year ago, but you made it really easy, and I appreciate that. You know, what a long way we've come as a district. I remember when Dr. Cavazos changed the organization chart that made your position a direct report to him, to send a message loud and clear to the district what we're about. And we take great pride in our own self-assessment, forget the state or anywhere else, but our own self-assessment. But I think having you in this position as a former principal, and as someone who's just, I mean, you're just amazing at what you do. But this measuring and this monitoring really allows all of our campus leaders to make data-driven decisions each and every day, and it's very helpful. So I just want to applaud you for the great work you're doing. It is very much noticed by this board, and you've helped, I think, every principal and you know, in many ways. I will ask one question. I do think there's an opportunity for our district when we look at, you know, if you look at the military and other organizations, they oftentimes, there's always some organization that comes in that does some sort of, you know, compelling sort of, you know, survey or assessment of that organization, right? On healthcare, you have Joint Commission, for example, right? Well, in the military, for example, you know, you have their own, they call it the Inspector General, right? And so they come in, they say, hey, before anybody else comes and we're going to do this to ourselves. It's always a lot tougher than the real assessment. And I wonder if we don't have an opportunity, and you're probably already doing this, but, you know, because as I see, you know, we can almost, you do a self-assessment 6 months or whatever, even before the real one comes. And instead of giving us the best in that category where you have the best or the worst, we give ourselves the worst, you know, just to sort of, so everybody's sort of keeping each other honest and trying to sort of, you know, improve all aspects of our district. But I want to say this, and I think the district has done such an amazing job of getting this message out. We've just got to be careful because, as you know, and as this district has done an amazing job getting the message out about what this letter grade is all about and everything else and the truth about this letter grade, we can just never become about the test and emphasis of the test and that kind of stuff. So I applaud you and I applaud the superintendent and every principal for really making it about education of all children and inspiring all children, because we are about the holistic education of kids. That's what we're about. And we brag so much about our emphasis on academics, but also about our arts and athletics. We're very proud of that, and we're very proud of flipping these kids' switches and inspiring them and getting them to succeed in life in many ways with character and everything else. So as much as what you do is critically important, we also have to remember what it really is about. But I think the work that you do really does even help the holistic education of kids. And I hope we can just maintain that balance of sort of helping things get better, but also without that emphasis or ever that emphasis on just the test or a test or any test. So thank you for the great work you're doing. Really proud of the work you're doing. And anyway, that's it for me.
Mr. President, I have a.
Yes, sir.
You know, when the grades was being first introduced and they said we're going to be a letter grade, a lot of school districts were very upset, very worried. But HCISD, we didn't worry about, kind of like what Dr. Pettis was saying, we didn't really worry about the grade or anything else because we were just keeping the course. We were doing what we do every single day. We were doing what we, going different, trying to be as innovative as we can, provide the best education as we could, not just academically, but in all aspects of it. And as a result, I mean, and grades are grades. We received an 86%, which is extremely well. I mean, one of the best, and I'm confident that we're going to get it even higher next year. But I will tell you that was one of the things that we didn't worry about. We were just working on what we do best, is providing the best education we can and let the chips fall where they may. And where they fell was 86.9%. 86.6 and almost a 90. So I think we're very proud of the what we've done, the impact that we provided. We're excited, and I can tell you when I speak on behalf of all the board that we're never satisfied. We're always fighting for better, and we will never be perfect. No one's ever perfect. We always strive to be perfect, and we're just going to continue to do what we do, and improve next year and improve every single year. But I can tell you that when these letter grades came up, people were nervous, but we weren't, because we knew the direction we needed to take. We knew what we needed to do, and as a result, our grade justified what we were always thinking about, and that's the great education that's provided here at HCISD. So again, thank you for that information. Dr. Pettis said it was very, very easy to understand. I'm not as smart as him. I was kind of taking notes and trying to learn off some of those things, but it was fantastic. So thank you. And Bobby, I saw him have questions too. Like, I'm not
No,
sure.
I have a question. No, just a statement that, this is very convoluted if you don't understand. I mean, it's convoluted. But you did present it well, and thank you for presenting it. Thank you for understanding it, and thank you for teaching us, because this is extremely important. And I'll just say this. I've seen this, and Nolan can probably, Dr. Pettis can probably chime in on this, but, in the business world, we see this. This has been happening, right? And so it makes sense for the school districts of Texas to do it. And what we see in the business world is they get so tight and they get so rigid that they can't breathe. And then the next wave in 5 or 6 years is that they're going to relax, And so this is just something we have to get through.
Mm-hmm.
This is just it's part of the ebbs and flows of doing business, But thank you for guiding us.
Good job.
Thank you very much, Dahlia. All right, the next item on our agenda is going to be approval of the 2018-19 district and campus performance objectives by Dr. Noyola.
Thank you, Mr. President, Dr. Cavazos, board members, senior team, and audience. TEC Code 11.251 states that the Board of Trustees shall annually approve district and campus performance objectives and shall ensure that the district and campus plans are mutually supportive to accomplish the identified objectives. As such, tonight we bring forward the campus and district performance objectives. Certainly as we continue to ground our work and action ideas on the strategic plan, you're going to find that a majority of the objectives that you'll see parallel the strategic plan. In addition, all the performance objectives related to the state accountability system have been quantified to ensure that data drives our work and are directly related to the interim goals that make up our Realizing Our Dream 2.0 report. As such, I am bringing forward these campus and district performance objectives and recommending approval as presented.
Do I have a motion?
Yes, I move approval.
Moved by Mrs. Fleurier,
Second.
second by Dr. Reiniger. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries unanimously. The next item is matters related to transformation and school support. First item is Transforming Teaching and Learning Committee report. Dr. Noyola.
Mr. President, earlier last week we had our regular Transforming Teaching and Learning Committee report where we had two presentations that were brought forward. The first presentation was brought forward by Mrs. Veronica Corton, titled The Modernization of Our Elementary Classrooms. During her presentation, Mrs. Corton highlighted the work that we will be moving into, which is actually phase 2, where we are modernizing our early childhood classrooms. She went ahead through her presentation, highlighted some of the work that had taken place in phase 1 when we were modernizing our 3rd through 5th grade, highlighted some of the lessons that were learned in that process, and then rolled out what the plan was going to look like as we look to the modernization of our early childhood classrooms. In addition, as part of what she highlighted, we will also be looking at our library media centers and highlighting some of the work and how that which is one of our largest classrooms on our campuses, is going to be transformed. So we're excited. As we look into the second semester, we'll have a number of demonstrations of what that furniture will look like. So we're excited at that work, and you certainly will have an opportunity to see what we are looking to make available in our early childhood classrooms as we look to transform and create flexible learning spaces for our students. The second presentation was regarding our CTE programming and where we go now. We titled it Perfecting Our Practice in CTE. As you know, we have rolled out a number of programs in career and technical education. During the presentation, we highlighted some of the new programs that we're bringing in this year. But we also talked about what does it look like now moving forward. And so one of the things that we shared with the board was that over the next few years, our goal is to perfect that work and make sure that we are providing the best programs possible for our students. So through that perfecting our practice, we are looking at what are we doing instructionally in our classrooms? How are we supporting our teachers? Because one of the big goals of these programs is ensuring that our students have an opportunity to earn a certification. So in order to get our students there, we need to make sure that our teachers are just as prepared to be able to offer the curriculum that's necessary for our students to be successful. So we shared what that will look like. We also talked about the critical importance of our advisory committees. We've been fortunate to have tremendous partnerships come forward and people wanting to be part of the work that we're doing and wanting to support our students in that endeavor. And so we highlighted what our advisory committee structures will look like moving forward and how they will continue to partner with us in some of our work. And so we closed out that presentation by highlighting our new EMT trainer vehicle. As we shared, we purchased an ambulance for our students that will serve as a training model. Students are really excited. We had several students put forward a demonstration of the skills that they have learned thus far in the last few months. Really excitement around that. In fact, we earlier today we had Channel 4 highlight the ambulance. The students did a demonstration, so they should be on TV. They should be either at 6 o'clock or tonight. And then we also had requests from South Texas Emergency Care asking for us to go by and share the ambulance with the board of that program. Very excited about what HCISD is doing as well as how it will contribute to our community. So really great opportunities for our students. Tremendous response from our community. Excitement all around. So we're really looking forward to what our CTE programs will evolve to in the future. Dr. Bettis chairs our Transforming Teaching Learning Committee, and so Dr. Bettis, I'll turn it over to you if there's anything else you would like to share.
Well, just again, two outstanding presentations again at this committee meeting. We're really grateful for these thoughtful dialogues, and I appreciate the thoughtfulness that Dr. Cavazos puts into sort of, and the timeliness of when to bring these, topics before the board, because it's very timely and informative for the board, but also we can have a thoughtful discussion and have questions and time for questions and things like that. And it's always great to hear what's going on at a deeper level. And also, give some input and ideas, but you guys are just continually just all over it. Your team is just all over it, and we're just so proud of the work that's going on. With the modernization of elementary classrooms, you just kept thinking about, wow, where we've come with our early childhood education. Right. It's just amazing, and we are really the prototype of how you can do it right in public schools in terms of early childhood education and our work with pre-K, and then it's just sort of, we keep putting sort of more icing and cherries and things. I mean, it just gets better and better, but also something that we can take great pride in terms of being a district of choice, really, right? Not just schools of choice, but a district of choice. And I think parents, when they're informed and when we can get the word out and just keep telling them the resources and the best practices that we're bringing to those early kids, from pre-K all the way up through fifth grade in the elementary schools, we're seeing it. Students that were before choosing to go to charter schools and private parochial schools, they're choosing to come here because we're giving them a better head start to a better education. So I'm very proud of the work that's going on very proud of the collaborative learning platforms that you are putting in every classroom. Just super exciting. Our second topic, CTE, again, amazing work going on there. We don't even have to look to the work that you presented that you're going to do in the future. We just got to remind ourselves of being one of 61 districts in the state that already got the distinction as a district level for being college and career readiness. So we know we're already doing the great work, but we're just still pedal to the metal, and we're just doing it better and better and better. One of the things I'm really proud of is, and remind me please, Doc, the number of certifications, 45, 40?
52%.
Well, we had 52% of our kids
No, but
graduate
I'm sorry,
with certification.
but
We're
the
at
number of certifications.
42, I believe.
42 certifications. What I liked about the presentation is there was an emphasis of not just adding more for the sake of adding more. It's sort of a needs assessment of what do we really need? What do the industries need in our area? What are our students asking for? Where is their jobs? And then more importantly, two things: making them to industry standard and making them the best they are, right? So you just want to keep making them better and better and perfecting those practices. And then also highlighting ways to engage with industry. With the advisory board you mentioned, and just the numerous ways of engaging industry and engaging higher ed and things like that. So just really exciting times. Keep up the great work. We're really proud, and we, it's my favorite meeting of the month. So I would really appreciate all the work you put in, and thank you for bringing this to us, Doc. And I know you put a lot of work and a lot of thought, and it's not easy, but it really is meaningful for this board. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Noyola. Thank you, Dr. Pettis, for those comments. Moving on, we're going to go next to matters related to business services and the internal audit quarterly report. Mrs. Ledesma.
Thank you, Mr. Powers, board members, Dr. Cavazos, and senior team. The audit committee and I met earlier this afternoon and heard the following 4 audit reports: an annual audit of activity funds for all campuses, and 3 special activity fund audits for Rodriguez Elementary, Travis Elementary, and Bowie Elementary, who all had either principals or secretaries or both transferring to other campuses. These reports were discussed with the audit committee members in detail, and I am here to answer any questions you may have, unless Ms. Flourier would like to elaborate on what we discussed.
Thank you. We certainly did have a comprehensive meeting, and I appreciated that very much, and appreciated the attendance of board members who were able to come because we began early. I would just like to ask if you would please reiterate what you shared with us today in terms of the amount of money that we are talking about in terms of the services that our student agencies are providing, and it just shows what I think. Why I would like for you to comment on that is it really shows the level of investment that the community is making in our schools, because these are monies that are used for the students in that regard. And also, I think the fact that we have an internal auditor who so carefully analyzes not only how well the money is being spent, but how carefully and how honestly and with what integrity the money is being spent shows, I think it shows the quality of the district. So
yes, ma'am. Mm-hmm. Yes, just reiterating some of the points that we highlighted earlier. As of year end, this year for 2017-18, the accumulated amount or the cumulative amounts of receipts and disbursements for all campuses of the district, we had over $3.5 million of monies that we received for all activity funds in the district, and we had disbursements totaling $3.46 million. That's just for campuses. We also had some non-campuses, which are like the aquatic center, music department, the chess team, and the summer on stage. And we had receipts of $188,000 for them and over $139,000 in disbursements. So together, combined, it was $3.75 million in revenues that we have received in activity funds, and over $3.6 million in disbursements that we have in activity funds. So there is a lot of monies coming through at all the campuses, and And most of it is cash. You know, a lot of people pay cash for a lot of things. You know, we do have some checks coming in, but the most of the monies, I would say like 80-90% is cash. So that's why it's very important for us to spend a lot of time, you know, making sure that these monies are accounted for and that we do have proper documentation and that the monies are being timely deposited and all.
Thank you. And we appreciate your helping us be accountable in that capacity.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Nellie. You do a great job. Thank you. It's a lot of responsibility. It's amazing how much cash does come through. It really is. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
The next item is consideration and approval to award construction services contract for the 2018 security fencing and gate improvements rebid. The presenter is going to be Mr. Cavazos, Julio Cavazos.
Thank you, Mr. Powers, Dr. Cavazos, and board members. Agenda item 9B is consideration and approval for security fencing and gate improvement at Harlingen High School South and Cano. Ranking committee met and ranked the 3 proposals we received. N&M Contracting and Hurricane Fence ended up with a tie of 116 points each. So when that happens, you know, the tiebreaker goes to the lowest bid. The committee is recommending N&M Contracting. Their bid came in at $365,475, which is $55,525 lower than Hurricane Fence. That's what the committee is recommending N&M Contracting. N&M Contracting has done some work for us. They did the baseball, softball fields, so we're familiar with them. Again, we ended up in a tie, but because of the price differential, we are recommending N&M Contracting. Be glad to answer any questions the board might have.
Mr. President, I move approval to award the construction services contract for the 2018 security fencing and gate improvements rebid as presented.
Second the motion.
Dr. Pettis made the motion. Dr. Manji seconded. Is there any further discussion or questions? If there's none, we'll proceed to vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries unanimously. The next item is approval of list of investor, dealers, brokers, and banks.
Mr. President, I will have to abstain from discussion or voting on this matter.
All right, we'll let the record reflect that Dr. Pettis will abstain on this item. Mr. Julio Cavazos.
Thank you, Mr. Powers, Dr. Cavazos, board members. Agenda item 9C is the approval list of investment brokers, dealers, and banks. We are required to bring this list forward to the board every year. Considering that current investment rates are low, we do compare CD rates with local banks and invest with the one that offers us the best rate. So when that happens, you know, the tiebreaker goes to the lowest bid. The committee is recommending N&M Contracting. Their bid came in at $365,475, which is $55,525 lower than Hurricane Fence. That's what the committee is recommending N&M Contracting. N&M Contracting has done some work for us. They did the baseball, softball fields, so we're familiar with them. Again, we ended up in a tie, but because of the price differential, we are recommending N&M Contracting. Be glad to answer any questions the board might have.
Mr. President, I move approval to award the construction services contract for the 2018 security fencing and gate improvements rebid as presented.
Second the motion.
All right. Dr. Pettis made the motion. Dr. Manji seconded. Is there any further discussion or questions? If there's none, we'll proceed to vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries unanimously. The next item is approval of list of investor, dealers, brokers, and banks.
Mr. President, I will have to abstain from discussion or voting on this matter.
All right, we'll let the record reflect that Dr. Pettis will abstain on this item. Mr. Julio Cavazos.
Thank you, Mr. Powers, Dr. Cavazos, board members. Agenda item 9C is the approval list of investment brokers, dealers, and banks. We are required to bring this list forward to the board every year. Considering that current investment rates are low, we do compare CD rates with local banks and invest with the one that offers us the best rate. The list of the brokers and dealers and banks is attached. I'd be glad to, it's the same as last year's. I'd be glad to answer any questions the board might have.
Mr. President, I make a motion for approval of the list of investment dealers, brokers, and banks as recommended by administration.
Okay.
Second.
All right, moved by Mr. De Leon, seconded by Mr. Hymas. Is there any further questions or discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries unanimously. Next item is matters relating to human services. And the first item is approval of revisions to Policy Update 111 and Policy DEC Local and EIC Local on first reading. Dr. Noyola.
Thank you, Mr. President. This evening, we bring for your consideration and approval 6 policies that are being recommended for revision from TASB as part of Policy Update 111. In addition, we have 2 local policies that we are recommending minor revisions, policies DEC local and EIC local on first reading. All of these policies were thoroughly reviewed earlier this evening at the Policy and Audit Committee meeting. Mrs. Fleury chairs the Policy and Audit Committee meeting, so Mrs. Fleury, I'll turn it over to you should you have anything to add.
Thank you very much. I think we've all been provided with the material, and once again appreciate the meeting that we had today. And of course, it focuses on changes in law from the 85th legislative session. We would just entertain any questions that you all might have. Most of these were changes either to clarify something that was already within the policy, or, for example, if it were in legal, it did not need to be in local. It was repetitive, and so there were mostly those kinds of changes. There-
All right, do I have a motion?
Yes, I'd like to move, if I may, I'd like to move approval, please, on first reading as recommended.
Moved by Mrs. Fleury. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Dr. Reiniger. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion carries unanimously. Item 11, matters relating to district operations. First item is approval of final construction payment to Central Air Heating Supply, Inc., and for HVAC upgrades at Long and Wilson elementary schools. Mr. Tapia.
Yes, Board President Powers and members of the board, Dr. Cavazos, this is a recommendation to release final payment to Central Air and Heat Services for the HVAC project we did at Long and Wilson. The amount of $10,000 to finalize and close out this project.
Okay, do I have a motion?
Mr. President, I make a motion to approve final construction payment to CHS Inc. for the HVAC upgrade at Long and Wilson Elementary Schools.
Moved by Mr. Hymas, second by Mr. De Leon. Is there any further discussion? If there's no further discussion, we'll proceed to vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion carries unanimously. Item B, approval of final construction payment to Peterson Construction Company for the parking lot improvements at Vernon Middle School, Administration Annex, Bonham, Milam, and Travis. Mr. Tapia.
President Powers, members of the board, Dr. Cavazos, this is another release of final payment to Peterson Construction in the amount of $9,095.37 for the parking lot improvements we did at Vernon Edmond Annex, which is the Maca area, Bonham, Milam, and Travis. This also is to close out the project, and as per policy CB, it requires school board approval.
Mr.
I
President,
recommend approval.
Mr. President, move approval. Final construction payment to Peterson Construction Company for the parking lot improvements at Vernon Administrative Complex, Bonham, Milam, and Travis as presented.
I have a motion by Dr. Pettis. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Dr. Reiniger. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion carries unanimously. The next item is approval of final construction payment to TelePro Communications for the intercom upgrades at Dishman, Stewart Place, Wilson Elementary Schools. Mr. Tapia.
Yes, President Powers, members of the board, Dr. Cavazos, this is also a final payment to TelePro in the amount of $4,097.10 to close out the PA or intercom improvements we did at Dishman, Stewart Place, and Wilson. Administration recommends approval of final payment.
Do I have a motion?
Yes, I make a motion that the final construction payment to TelePro Communications for the intercom upgrades at Dishman, Stewart Place, Wilson Elementary Schools as presented by administration.
Second.
I have a motion by Dr. Reiniger and a second by Mr. Hymas. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion carries unanimously. Item number 12 is will adjourn into closed or executive session pursuant to the Texas Government Code Section 551.071, 551.072, 551.074, and 551.082 of the Open Meetings Act for the following purposes. Number 1, to discuss purchase of real estate. Number 2, to discuss the superintendent's formative evaluation. Da-da-da-da. We are adjourned into closed session. There's no action to be taken on any items that were discussed in executive session, so there being no further business, we are adjourned.